Welcome back, 610-363-1110. Listen, we've got Christian Community Credit with us, Mike Poirier, who is the Senior Vice President of Ministry Lending. Senior Vice President of Ministry Lending. Of course, it would take a really strong Christian credit union or financial institution to have a senior VP of ministry lending. And I'm not, the title just goes to really point out that this is a Christian organization that cares deeply about the ability for kingdom growth, so much so that they have someone in charge of just that and making sure that some of the great kingdom ministries and great churches can get funded. Now, I've said this many times on the air, and, you shouldn't be considering building a church project without talking to Christian Community Credit Union, because they know what it means for a church and how it works. Mike, welcome. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate being here as well.
Mike, one of the things that I know churches, I remember in a previous church, we were talking about a building project. I remember interviewing local banks for the need, and, they just couldn't wrap their arms around the way it works. They just couldn't relate to, I guess, people are going to pledge and they're going to pay us the money and we're going to get, and you guys understand that. And actually the foundation of the credit union was kind of built upon that, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly where we started. We started serving ministries, and that's still our heart today, is making sure we understand what they're doing, what their project's about, or how their ministry is operating, what their missions and goals are. And for us, it's really also teaching them about what it means that financial institutions look at. And we definitely look at it more unique than what a traditional bank would be looking at, for sure. So we understand ministries. That's what we're about, and that's what we do, for sure.
What's an example of the way? I mean, I can think of underwriting examples, but what's the example of a commercial lending institution or a community bank looking at it compared to Christian Community Credit Union?
Yeah, I think a lot for banks is trying to understand contributions, right? This is something that's given voluntarily versus selling a product. So a lot of them, they understand selling products, what businesses do. It's understanding what ministries do. So for us, it's really, we look at it, we understand what ministries are about, how they earn their revenue. And really, we also look at their budget. Really, we guide into what it should be and what it looks like, because we look at ministries all day long. So we understand where expenses should be spent, what the ratios typically are out there. And understanding those pieces is helpful for us in underwriting a loan. So when we look at how much should be going towards salaries, how much should be going towards a mortgage, how much should be going towards the operational expenses of a church, those are the things that we want to look at. We want churches to be living out their mission and not getting into debt just to pay a mortgage. We want them to be using something that's actually going to benefit the ministry and their calling of what they need to do out in the mission field, help them grow the kingdom.
And you understand the whole notion of, hey, we are going to build a church. I mean, we're going to build an addition, and we're going to get started with that. And as a result, we've gone to our congregation. We've asked them if to make a contribution or to pledge a contribution towards this over the next 2 years or 3 years. And you understand that and are willing even to look at that, where I know that there have been situations, I've heard of situations where they're not even going to look at that. They don't get that. They don't understand that. They don't know how to underwrite pledges or promises that are being made. by congregation. But you guys get that.
Yeah, that's certainly a piece that we understand, and we work with third party groups, campaign companies that are working through those things as well, and just trying to understand kind of the project as a whole, right? And so understanding what they're doing, what they're going to accomplish through the project, and really just work through it. And it's for us to really just listen and understand what their goals are, and seeing how we can serve them and their financial needs through any project, whether it's a construction project, refinancing, or even a purchase. Because we're actually seeing quite a few purchases come through right now. Churches are seeing where they can go even buy some buildings.
That's great. So you do this as well, right? For a parachurch ministry that is doing various ministry work or missions work. You can do the same there. For instance, and I don't condone this, by the way. But there is a necessary element sometimes that is oftentimes the difference between getting to the next level and doing more work, and things like a line of credit or a refinance on a building or something like that for some of these missions agencies or parachurch ministries. Is that right?
Yeah, we work with all different types of ministries, and we do all different aspects of it beyond just even the lending side. So for those parachurch ministries, for mission sending agencies, we actually can work through them on the financing of different pieces of it, but also looking at their banking aspect as well. So we're able to do the full service aspect for ministries, and we're here for those that are working in God's kingdom and kind of building for the future, and trying to help them through. If there's a seasonal aspect where a line of credit makes sense, we're able to work through that. But like you said, it's not necessarily, we don't want to put a lot of ministries in a lot of debt. So lines of credit, they should be used sparingly, but there are needs for that for sure.
Sure. And you guys hold most of those loans, right? I mean, it's and you're using that loan payment to make other loans to other ministries.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is that we are a traditional credit union in the sense that we take deposits, we lend those deposits back out to ministries, and the interest earned on that, because we are a non-for-profit credit union, we return those investments back either into dividends back to our shareholders, or we go from there and reinvest it back into other ministries and try to give them the most competitive rates out there. That's the unique part about a credit union, is how we reinvest into our membership is giving them the lowest interest rates possible on loans, and trying to do that. And so, that's our heart, is to really work with ministries and help them through with their financial needs. Right now we have historical interest rates as you look at it. So we're seeing a lot of ministries taking advantage of refinancing their loans and working through those pieces of it. And that's where our passion is, helping through that, and seeing where we can help them.
Yeah. Well, that is great. And we need, I know our church is needed, our ministries need that understanding that you bring to the table, I think, with all of that. And I think that if there's a church out there listening, you can only imagine what it's like, probably, to sit, I assume you can only imagine it unless you've experienced it, to sit across the table or across the phone from somebody that understands exactly where you're coming from, what your needs are, why you have those needs, and how you're going to pay it back, and that really understands the whole process. And that's why I think, organizations like Christian Community Credit Union are so important for the kingdom work that is being done out there. And, I know from experience of talking to so many, next week I'll be at a pastor's conference where I'm for a couple of days, and I'll be speaking to hundreds of pastors, and I'll hear a lot about this notion that nobody gets it. Nobody gets what we're trying to do, or where can I go? How do I navigate that, or what is some help you can give me? And it's great for me because I can say call Christian Community Credit Union and talk to them. They know what you're going through. They get it and they understand it. And you guys have to hear that a lot from the chairman of the elder board or the finance committee or whatever it might be in a church. You got to hear that a lot.
Yeah, we certainly do. And that's why we've actually dedicated ministry development officers throughout the whole nation to take those phone calls and to listen to what's happening from those chairman of the elder board or, the executive pastor or business administrator of the church, and really just understand what their needs are and working through those needs and ultimately coming to a solution for them that makes sense. It's our passion to make sure that they're doing sound financial decisions and working through that. So yeah, we work nationwide, and doing that is we get to work with a lot of great ministries throughout the nation and just see how we can serve them and help them grow.
And those people are going to talk to the same people. They're going to call if someone is handling their area, geographical area where they live. You're going to talk to that same person all the time. You're going to build a relationship and a rapport, something that has long been lost in banking and finance. That's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate you being with us and taking some time to be with us. It is such a joy. And if you've got questions, call Christian Community Credit Union. You can ask for Mike Poirier, and he'll direct you to the right person or answer your questions for you. Our phone number's on the website. Check it out, Christian Community Credit Union.